Big Ed here, and today we are going to talk about carrying with an empty chamber. And this is going to stir the pot a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit about revolvers here, and we're going to also talk about pistols right here. And there's basically 4 areas that we're going to talk about. One, the first one will be recreational use. Second one will be home defense. Third one will be concealed carry, and the fourth one will be hunting. We're going to leave out all professional people, that was military, law enforcement, anybody like that. And those are who we're going to deal with today. For the first thing, for hunting, I do a lot of hunting myself. I deer hunt, and I do a lot of duck hunting. I've done pheasant hunting. I do a lot of pheasant hunting now. I never find them anymore though. But rough grouse hunting. As far as hunting goes, I think when you're by yourself, you want to keep one loaded in the chamber. That's fine. I think when you're in a group, I think that it might be a better idea to leave the chamber empty. If you're running a semi-auto or some sort of a magazine-fed gun, keep the tube loaded, your magazine loaded, keep the chamber empty. I just think that it's so quick to load a gun right now, even if you're a deer hunter. If you have your Remington 700, keep the magazine filled, keep the chamber empty. If you do it real slow and have a little wear in your bolt, you can do it without that deer hearing anything to put one in the chamber. I think it's just being safer. Somebody posted on one of my videos, and it was really sad. In Texas, it's I forget the whole story, but it was a Taurus pistol. Same round in the pipe, and they were carrying it, and it went off, and it killed somebody by accident. And I just thought that was preventable, if the chamber had been empty. And he agreed with me, and that was really sad. And it's somewhere on one of my videos. I can't remember which one, but that really upset me. Also watching. Not going to get into this too much, but that CNBC special they did years ago on the Remington 700 on the trigger and how the gun used to just go off. And one of those, if I can remember, skits, it wasn't a skit, it was, a reenactment. Again, really sad, and it was a tragedy. It was a father and son, and I remember they had some, house on a farm or something like that, and they were just walking around the front of the house, and a rifle went off, and it ended up killing the son. And I think that there was another instance where there were a couple going under a fence or through a fence or something. The gun got hung up and it went off, and the safety didn't work, and it ended up killing somebody. And I just looked at that. I'm like, why don't you just carry with an empty chamber? Why not just load the magazine, push that bolt home with nothing in the chamber? It's quick to rack around in. And it's just sad. Those are tragedies, and I think those are tragedies that could have been avoided. Also, when I hunt with my brother a lot, and we go duck hunting, and we're both running semi-automatics. Also, we run an 870 also, but same thing. When we're close to each other, within range of each other, we leave those magazines full, but we're running an empty chamber, and I just, there's no way that's going to impede our hunting. We see the ducks coming, you're hot, you're ready to go. And I feel safer because I've had one negligent discharge hunting. I had gloves on. It was freezing cold one morning. He was away from me on the other side of this inlet, on this waterway inlet we were hunting around. And, I had the gun. It was, pointed down right into the water. I was right on the right on the edge of the water. And, I ended up catching it with my glove, and it went off. And I was just like, thank God he wasn't around me, and, and made me think, so that goes for hunting. The next thing is concealed carry. I'm hot right now. I practice with an empty chamber. I always do that. I just believe, obviously most of my shooting is recreational. I do carry concealed. I practice concealed carry, and I just believe that it's better to be, odds of me or running into some sort of an accident are probably higher than me running into some vicious person. And can I load the gun real quick if it's got a full magazine? Absolutely. And I do practice like that, and I just think it's safer. And all the other thing I do is I practice. If I go into the post office, I have to check my mail every day, or at least 3-4 times a week. I take my handgun out and I put it in the center console. It makes me feel a lot better. Also for work, I can't carry. It makes me feel a lot better for work. That the gun's just in my truck. There's not one in the chamber. Also because I'm constantly taking it in and out. It's also my bedside gun. It just maybe I suffer a little bit. Maybe that extra half a second that it takes me to rack that slide when I pull out my pistol, I don't know. I'm sure it'll cost a little bit, but I think that the benefits I'm getting from being safer with the handgun, not having one in the chamber, will outweigh, odds of me running into somebody. And I've watched a lot of people. I think a lot of people just carry with one in the chamber because they're gung-ho. They're, not going to go into that too much, but maybe they're looking for a fight. So next thing that we'll talk about is home protection. And this one I'm kind of got a mixed feeling on it. Because I carry a lot, and I carry with an empty chamber, I leave my gun at home with an empty chamber. And all my pistols are like that. They'll have full mags in them. They always have full mags in them. I'll have a backup mag, but they do not have a round in the chamber. And that's just the way but I practice like that. So I think if I ever were to run into a problem where I would need my handgun, I think I would be perfectly fine. The next thing is recreational use. Recreational use, absolutely. I'm talking about firing in the range, going into the middle of nowhere, just shooting for fun. Carry with an empty chamber. I don't think it behooves you at all to run a round in the chamber. It's just better. It's safer. That way you can hand somebody a gun. You can unload it, check the chamber anyway, but it's empty, and you can let somebody else shoot it. I just think it's totally safe. I've been shooting with other groups of people up here, and I've seen guys go like rack the slide and hand somebody a loaded firearm, and that's not the move. That's definitely dangerous. You always want to hand somebody, an empty gun, preferably with the slide lock back, with the magazine, so they can see that it's empty. They can load it. They're comfortable using it, and so forth. Revolvers, especially a modern day revolver, I'll load the cylinder. I think it's a lot safer than a striker fired gun, or definitely a hammer fired gun with a hammer cocked back. You leave the hammer down, but there's a 10-pound pull, in most double action revolvers. So I'll leave the cylinders full on a revolver, if I'm carrying one. That's pretty cool. The whole ice is just shifting a little bit. And my dog's barking at it over there, which is pretty funny, but I can just hear the water's just gone up and down a little bit, and I can see a little water moving over here, but interesting. But that was just kind of my talk, and I think there's a lot of, I look at a lot of these people that live in the sticks, that aren't in high crime areas, and their odds that are carrying Glock 19s as a primary, and then they got a backup mag, and then they got a Glock 26 on their ankle, and there's a round in both of them, and then they got backup mags, and but they live in like Ohio or Tennessee, and in the sticks, pay attention to the world around you. I mean, if you live in New York City, there's 400 murders a day, I believe, right now, give or take a few, which is really tragic, but you want to, it's probably a little bit more important to carry around in a chamber in New York City, but I just, if you can get a permit, and I heard those are very difficult to get, I just think you should, look at the numbers, how safe am I? Is it better to be safe than what are your odds of running into a bad guy, or a mass shooter or somebody like that? I would just think that odds of having an accident are probably higher than running into a bad guy. That would just be my 2 cents. And as long as I've carried for, that's always kind of the way I've felt. And I think I'm safe with guns. I think I practice good gun safety, and I always try to be safe. And but I still feel that way, and you know, that's why I carry with an empty chamber. And I'm sure people are the hate's gonna come up, but I just wanted to throw that out there, and you know, please feel free to make this a discussion, and you know, get your you know, ideas, you know, posted below, and you know, definitely talk about them. But again, folks, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and you know, feel free to subscribe, post comments below, and give me a thumbs up if you like this video.